Hello, and welcome to today's Through God's Library. It's a DDC and a book review day. And today we're going to review the book Grace Bomb, which came out just about a week ago from when this is being recorded. It's written by a guy by the name of Pat Linnell, and he's from here in Maryland. And fair warning, I know Pat. Actually, the day I'm recording this and the day that it's actually going to go live on the internet is 2 years to the day that I actually interviewed and put out Pat's podcast of mine on the Amazed by God podcast. So he interviewed, and he was very, very gracious to me. He talked about Grace Bomb, and actually I interviewed him, and the first time I interviewed him, there was just this like weird sound through the whole interview, and a busy guy, speaking past the time. I think he was actually writing Grace Bomb, but he was already doing the ministry, and he allowed me to come back and interview him a second time because the audio got all messed up. So I'm eternally thankful to him for that. But he released a book to go along with his nonprofit organization called Grace Bomb. And I picked it up, I bought it, I pre-ordered the book. And then I actually also, I was away this weekend when the book came out. So I was on a long drive, I was on a road trip with my girlfriend, and I bought the audio book. So I've actually bought it twice already. And I listened to it while we were on our road trip and as we were driving home. Actually, my girlfriend, who fell asleep or was kind of trying to fall asleep, and I put the book on instead of having music on. And I listen to audiobooks all the time, and I had it on at 1.5 speed, so Pat reads the audiobook, so he was reading really fast, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, this is really interesting, but this guy talks really fast." And it made me chuckle and laugh because I'm so used to listening to things in that manner and that speed that I don't even notice it anymore that they talk faster. So, but finished the book a couple days ago, and I wanted to put this out, especially with it being the second anniversary of his podcast on the Amazed by God podcast, which is something that I do from time to time. And I want to just do a quick book review on what it is. So let me explain what Grace Bomb is really quick. So if you're familiar with servant evangelism, it's basically a form of servant evangelism. I was at a church called Abundant Life, or ALC, here in Glen Burnie, and that's how I wound up here, where our church grew with this idea of servant evangelism, where we would go out and give out water, and we do these big serve days, and we do different things like fill up gas tanks or give out postage or give water or anything else. And the church kind of exploded. It was with they were following a guy by the name of Steve Sjogren at the time, and he had written some books on this and had put out the cards and everything else. But Pat took that idea of servant evangelism and took it to a whole nother level. And he has a way of practically getting us involved in grace. So he made these Grace Bomb cards, which actually come in the back of it, and you can order more if you want, where you go and you do something that is a practical way of showing somebody the grace of God. And then you give them the Grace Bomb card, so it's not really linked with a church, or it's not really linked with anything like it was back with my ALC days, but it sends them to a website that kind of talks about this, and people go on and share and give testimonies of what happened. And the book is littered with these kind of things, but what he really is talking about is, if God gave us so much grace, if God gave us all of this, that we should be showing it in a certain way. And the problem is, we don't know how to sometimes. The problem is and we're uncomfortable. So it's this great way of building this reputation of, first off, being a servant, being able to show that if God is who God says he was, like if God loves us that much, then we should be able to show that love to other people. If you've been watching my video or my content for any amount of time, I believe that the crux of the whole Bible comes in the New Testament in 1 John, where it says, how can you say you love God and not love your neighbor? And Grace Bomb gives us a way of practically showing that or doing that. I took my Grace Bomb cards one time, and I'll just share this story because it's about a year ago now, and in the toilet paper gate of the beginning of the COVID-19 thing, where all the toilet paper was kind of just being bought up, and there was none left to be found. And when COVID hit, I was actually on a golf trip in another state down in Myrtle Beach, And by the time that I got back to Maryland, there was no toilet paper to be found anywhere by me. So I had like 2 rolls left, and to be honest with you, I was a little scared. So I went on to Amazon because that was the only place that I could even see finding any, and I had to buy 48 rolls to get any rolls sent to my house. And so that's what I did. I bought 48 rolls, but then it told me it was going to take like 2 months to get in there. And again, I only had 2 rolls of toilet paper in my house, so I bought another 12 pack to kind of like last me over, and I felt kind of bad like this. I was buying so much. And so what happened was the 12 pack and the 48 pack showed up basically within like a week and a half to my house. So I had all this abundance of toilet paper. And so I gave a 12 pack away to somebody, and then I was like, I wanted to give away another 12 pack of toilet paper. So I went and I bought some books, some devotionals that are easy reads. It was almost coming up to Easter at that time. I bought some Easter cards. I wrote a little note on it about God's love. And if somebody didn't have toilet paper, here you go. And I basically took a roll of toilet paper. I stuffed it in like a plastic baggie, ziplocked it, and put that in the bag with the devotional and the thing. And then I just kind of drove around and I kind of drove through some lower income areas, and I just dropped them off on doors that I thought that God was giving me, a nudge to drop it off there. And I was just like, you know what? I have no clue whether they have toilet paper or not, but with everything that was going on, I didn't want to hoard the toilet paper. I was blessed to be able to get 60 rolls of toilet paper, at a time when nobody could get any. So I wanted to be able to give some back. And so I went and dropped that. It's probably my favorite grace bomb. I don't know whether, Pat, if you're listening to this or you see this, whether or not any of those stories came in, but hey, I thought that was something that was needed at that time. But it gives us a way of kind of reaching out. And in the book, Pat talks about, like those steps that you take when you want to do it anonymously, and then maybe you want to build up from there and you start a conversation with somebody, and you do it to where people will know who you are and you're doing it. What also I really loved about the book was Pat wasn't shy about talking about the fact that sometimes it doesn't go well. I've had this happen to me before, especially back at ALC, where people don't accept the grace. A lot of times we always like to talk about the good times, and there's a fantastic story in here where he is talking about a boy and a mom, and I think it's at Wawa if I'm not mistaken. They're trying to just buy coffee for somebody, and 2 people turn them down, and how grace is still found in that. It just is a fantastic book, and it leads to a fantastic thing that we can do, and that is practically showing God's grace. And it's not like pushing somebody to come to church. It's not that we want to just go ahead and like, oh, we got to get them saved or anything else, but it's linked to this organization that is going to be able to reach out and hopefully touch and bless people's lives. As a Christian book, it's not going to win any theology awards or anything like that, but it is going to change your perspective on how you can serve God if you read it. He does, no offense, Pat, if you watch this, he does shoehorn grace bomb into stories in the Bible, which is a very, very Christian trope thing to do. Everything then relates to what their topic is. So in that sense, it feels like other Christian books, but it also very much feels like something new, like a new revelation, a new way of doing it. And my hope is that this kind of thing catches on, that this organization catches on, and that we can start showing people practical ways that we can love them, for the fact that we can then build up our own spiritual muscle and be able to do more and show people more and be able to touch people's lives more, that this is just a starting point. And that's what he kind of talks about. I love that about this book, that he is not shy by saying that this is a place to get you out there, and then you can then start to grow. That's my review on this book. The idea of grace bomb, this idea of grace, something so good, so holy, something so wanted, and then this bomb, as he would say, and how they are kind of an oxymoron, but that we are going to create a space where the unexpected comes into somebody's lives by showing them the love of Jesus. So So I highly recommend this book. If you would like to pick up a copy of it, there's a link in the description below, or you can go to gracebomb.com or get it off of Amazon, which is the link below. And we will see you next time.